Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations. And I wanted to make you aware of something very cool that we're doing on a subscription basis, and we'll put a link in each one of our episodes. But every Wednesday, we're going to be doing what we call an audio podcast workshop. That workshop will be roughly about 14 to maybe 20 minutes per episode, with each month having a theme from a coaching model, using feedback strategically, to coaching self-awareness, and so on. So if you could look in the body or in the content description of each episode, and you will see a link where you can join this subscription. These are literally 4 workshops every month, teaching specific strategies to address a particular area of workplace coaching, as it relates, again, to things like awareness, motivation, teamwork, and what have you. Here's the cool thing. It's only $10 per month, and each month you will get a handout that we will follow along with. So we also give you a tool for you to take notes as we go through each episode. We hope you'll check it out.
Welcome to Resilience and Reality Part 2. I am convinced now more than ever that one of the things that I think a lot of people just in general, especially during the pandemic, really struggle with is the ability to get up, get off the ground, overcome change and challenge. I want to read you just very quickly to add context to how you can coach to resilience and reality. First of all, resilience. It refers to both the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences. It's having the mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and ability to adjust to both internal and external demands. It's your ability to withstand adversity and bounce back and grow despite life's downturns. Now that's resilience. Think about that just for a second. Number 2, reality. Being honest with oneself, not letting emotions distort reality, being truthful with yourself and the situation. Now, the first version of this podcast episode, I talked about a story about someone who went for a job and didn't get it. Let me share with you just very quickly a second story. I was meeting with someone who was really struggling with their career. They didn't know what they wanted to do. And as the conversation started to digress, the person started to complain about their boss. Now, the person that I was talking to was not a client. It was a friend of a client who asked me for a favor to sit down with this person. And the objective of the conversation was this person wanted to know how to approach their boss about job opportunities they had felt stagnant. So I started to ask this person a lot of questions about what we teach called their motivator. Where do you want to end up? What specifically turns you on? What would you love to be doing more of that maybe you're not doing enough of now? Here's the funny thing. The person did not have answers. The person had no idea. Now, I'm not criticizing, yet it gives you a frame of reference. So as the conversation ensued, and I would say digress, the person started to complain about their boss. So remember, we're talking about resilience and reality. The reality was this person had no clue where they wanted to go, and a lot of people don't. That's not a criticism. Therein lies an opportunity of searching and seeking. And I said, I have to share with you, you seem really frustrated with your boss. And she said, I am. And I said, okay, what specifically has he or she done that has let you down? Now, I want you to hear this. As a listener, listen to this response because I wrote it down. I'm going to give it to you almost verbatim. Now, the question again was, what has he or she done that has specifically let you down? Specifically was the key word in the sentence. She said, well, I just feel lost and I don't know where I'm going. And she went on. Now, resilience potentially could still be there. Reality was, my sense was, but I think I was right. Her reality was she was more upset with herself. She was displacing it and putting it on the shoulders of her manager. And as she got done, I said, can I ask you a really rude question? And I said, I'm going to cross a line. Is that cool? She said, well, sure, because she knew I was helping her, so I had a little bit of latitude. She said, sure, what is it? I said, do you remember the question? She said, yeah. You you wanted to know what I wanted to do. And I said, do you understand that your answers were almost not answering that question? And she said, what do you mean? I said, you started to describe the feelings of frustration. You didn't describe specifically what your manager did to let you down. You started to describe how you felt. She said, yeah, I did do that. I said, I'm wondering if your frustration lies at your doorstep. And she just looked at me and she said, well, what do you mean by that? I said, I asked you what your boss specifically did to let you down. I still don't know that answer, and that's okay. Yet you started to describe how you felt. So your frustrations are your frustrations. Your boss can't own what you're frustrated with. That's something you have to deal with. So my question to you is, let's go back to your career. What have you specifically done to seek answers to that question of where you want to go? She said, well, really not much. I've tried talking to my boss and, they just didn't have any answers for me. I said, well, what answers would you like if you don't know where you want to go? And how is that expectation fair or potentially unfair to them? And you could see her calm down and come to this thing called reality. And I said, I'm wondering if we need to dig deep and really search for what, really turns you on, what you want to do with your career. And I'm wondering if that's something you can do on your own to make those conversations more plausible, to give greater context and substance to your boss so he or she can help you with your career. And she said, I'm wondering if I'm putting the cart before the horse. I said, I think you are. We all do that. And it was so interesting because she was so angry with her boss, yet her anger was with, I don't know where I want to go. So what she was distorted on was reality. That distortion led to a lack of ability to even be resilient because she didn't even know where to be resilient. So when we think about resilience, again, I love this definition. When you look at resilience and you think about the process, an outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility. When I asked this person, what are you doing on your own? She couldn't answer it. So what she was doing is something called the transfer of ownership. She was putting that responsibility for herself on someone else's shoulders, and she didn't even know it. One, that's why we coach. Two, that's why reality is so important. And when we deal with reality, we can actually dig into this thing called resilience, draw upon it, that will ultimately serve us very well. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.